Well, then just stream to YouTube. Folks, we apologize again for our technical difficulties, but we are back. Please bear with us as we are now only streaming on YouTube. So if you're coming over from the Twitch side, sorry, we got some things to work on behind the scenes. But 5 laps complete in that green flag stint. The caution has come out, number 4 of the night. And boy, do we have some action to cover. Jake Cummings has held on to the since the restart. Logan Clampett back up into the top 3 this time. Jason Wallet able to finally get around Matt O'Brien for that 3rd position. And how about Oscar Enriquez from George Mason University cracking the top 5 for the first time tonight?
Yeah, Enriquez looks pretty fast. He was a podium finisher a couple weeks ago at Talladega. Now currently sitting top 5 here in that GMU machine. Really putting in a solid effort here in the second ever CIL start, knocking on the door of a couple of the leaders, a couple of these playoff drivers. We're at the midpoint of this race, and we have a split decision on what people are going to do as far as pitting. Jake Cummings and Jason Wallet stay out. Logan Clampett and Matt O'Brien both dipping down pit road, though. Let's take a look here at these this pit cycle. It looked to be about a 50-50 split through the opening 3 or 4 rows of cars.
Logan Clampett with that first box on pit road. That's going to serve to his advantage. But he did come down pit road when about half the field stayed out. Cummings, Wallet, Sky Shrek, Drew Jaywall, Thomas Toomey now inside the top 5 on strategy, and Austin DeLong back up inside the top 10 since his missed strategy. Halterman, I think, took 2 tires, and he's going to win that battle off of pit road, but Logan Clampett just edges Matthew Morton to get that battle done and won.
Yeah, I mean, Kelton Quick is in the grass here, coming off the pit road. No harm, no foul, I guess, to any of his competitors, but I can't imagine the new tires are going to be particularly thrilled about getting covered in grass and dirt before they even get up to speed. But let's take a look at the replay here to see what brought out the caution just a moment ago at the midway point of this race.
So this is actually towards the front. You can see those 2 UNC Charlotte cars up on the top. The 37
Guilford. That was Charles Wembley of Guilford.
Charles Wembley of Guilford. Actually, I think he touched that apron, came up and collected a swath of drivers. But it looks like everybody behind him able to get through that incident site relatively unscathed. I'm not sure who he hit. It was definitely one of the Charlotte cars. It might have been Kaler.
Yeah, it was indeed Kaler. That was the one machine there of the UNC Charlotte team. So Kaler had made his way up toward the front, but now we'll have to reset it and try again. Also, lucky for a couple other cars in that area that they weren't also collected. It's tough to get down at that high of a speed when you see multiple cars washing up the track like that.
So 5th caution of the night comes out on lap 52. Now I want to go back to lap 45 if it's at all possible, producer Christian, because I think we saw the clear outright winner of save of the season. Muhammad Alif made contact with another driver in turn 3 on lap 45. That car went completely sideways, and he still somehow cranked that wheel all the way to the right, got that car saved. I don't know how in the world he did it, but we're going to try to get that replay for you all and show you, because that is very easily the save of the season. I mean, I can tell you, me and Alex up here in the booth, even while we were off, we both absolutely lost our minds when we saw it. It was phenomenal. So
yeah,
we're going to try and get that for you soon, but we are going to go back to green flag racing here pretty quickly. One final time through 3 and 4 under caution. Jake Cummings, Jason Wallet on the front row here for this restart. Jake Cummings, the control car out of Wingate University. Drew Jaywall has made his way back up in the top 5. Sky Shrek for Oklahoma University on that 2nd row. And then it's Thomas Toomey, Austin DeLong, Drew Williams, Garrett Vighton, Tristan Leclerc, Ryan Whitlock in the top 10 as the top line gets stacked up. Jason Wallet must have missed a shift or something, but we are back to racing here at Michigan.
Yeah, tough break there for that outside line. They got all bottled up behind the 76 of Wallet. Jake Cummings used that as the opportunity to just launch away from the rest of the field. And because so many cars stayed out, anyone who's on fresh tires now has quite a bit of traffic they have to work through here to get up to the back bumper of Jake Cummings. And right now, Cummings in a bit of free territory here while everyone's still trying to regroup, get that draft line going down the backstretch and starting to reel him in. Looks like they're starting to get it sorted a little bit, but there's still a lot of 2, maybe even 3 wide battling back there at the back end of the top 10. Halterman splitting DeLong and Stockner back there as they make their way into turn 1. They're going to get that sort. Viton hit the wall there going to the outside. Are they going to be able to keep that forward? Looks like they are for the moment. Now here comes Stockner trying to slide up in front of Halterman, able to do so, just pancake the side of that car into the wall in the process. Man, oh man, a lot of aggressive moves here coming off of that restart.
It's a Murphy's Law kind of night here in the booth. I just swallowed a mosquito, I think. So, who was that?
Someone went flying into that outside wall.
Wow.
Who was? Oh, Ryan Whitlock sideways into the wall. The caution's out. Andrew McCall involved as well. You see the 018's nose all pancaked in. Man, oh man. I mean, we'll have to get back to your mosquito in a second there, Zach. For right now, Ryan Whitlock's night almost certainly is over. The entire front of that car ripped off of it on that outside wall.
Yeah, he shot way across the track, and you can see that car going straight to the garage. Whitlock's night is done. Let's go ahead and take a look at that save that we were talking about from Muhammad Alif and Ball State University. He's going to be the red and black car in the middle, about the right hand of your screen with the yellow numbers to the inside of Jared Kaler. Sky Shrek is going to get a good run here. Looks to the inside. Alif throws the block too late, and look how sideways he was, and he kept that car completely straight.
I mean, obviously he lost a bit of speed, but that was the save that you mentioned back on lap 45. I mean, that was just an incredible save. Now we'll go hunt down the replay from the caution there that came out just a moment ago with Ryan Whitlock, but we just wanted to show you that that incident, or that Alif save, because it was just absolutely phenomenal. But some of our leaders now coming down pit road. Jake Cummings in, as well as a few other cars behind him. Looks like Cummings, though, one of the only cars from the lead group who's going to make their way down pit road here on lap 56.
Yeah, not a lot of cars pitting from the lead. Jake Cummings making a strategy call here, as well as the rest of the drivers. About 5 or 6 different strategies in the field at the moment. I'm not sure if we can get some data
and
on when all those cars
make it to the end
last pitted. With a 45 lap fuel window, yes, he can. Every car that pitted there can make it to the end. They don't need to pit if this stays green, but it's gonna be close.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I mean, these tires are definitely not going to hold up well after 45 laps. But in theory, if this stays green, Cummings has now given himself the opportunity to maximize that fuel window. As did, looks like Kaler. Garrett Viton was in there as well. But yeah, definitely a couple of cars where it's just like, you can make it on fuel, but do you is the race going to fall to you in a way where you can take advantage of that fact, or will it continue to be like the front half of the race where the cautions will break it up and you'll have another opportunity to come down pit road and get some new tires before the end of this one?
Let's go ahead and take a look at the replay that brought out this 6th caution of the night. Ryan Whitlock going for a wild ride in turns 3 and 4. He's that number 81 Alabama Huntsville machine. You can see what in the world? Something broke on that car.
Holy cow. Yeah, so all that contact there for McCall and Wembley, I mean, that wasn't even their fault. I mean, the 81, I mean, it just looks like the car flat tire. I don't know what. I'm going back here. I'm watching the replay one more time on my end. And it looks like the car just stopped turning in the middle of the corner. Maybe it was an internet situation. Maybe it was a broken toe link from an earlier incident. I don't know what it was, but that car just completely straightened out in the middle of the corner.
Because I think he was involved in an incident way early on in the race. So it may have been some residual suspension damage that finally broke on that car, but man, that thing shot into the outside wall. That was a hard hit.
It's one of the nice things about iRacing. You know, you can take a shot that hard, and for the most part, you don't really feel it. That's all just mental, like bummer.
The only damage and pain is to the ego.
Exactly. Of which, you know, I'm sure there are many. Even with it being iRacing, racers are still racers, and they'll take things very much to heart here. But with the lights off on the pace car, they'll be going back green at lap 58. A front row that we have not seen before here in the CIL. Sky Shrek and Jason Wallet, row 1. Thomas Toomey, Drew Jawah, row 2. Halterman and Williams, row 3. Zach.
Sky Shrek from Oklahoma University going to be the control car for this restart. They're going to hit the restart zone. Loud pedal goes to the floor. What a great restart from that 43 machine as we go back to racing here at Michigan.
Yeah, it looked like the 166 had a little bit of trouble getting going, and Jason Wallet for the second restart in a row, just a little bit of trouble getting going. Allowed the 43 to really launch out of there. Stockner looking to make it almost 4 wide going through the corner. He's now side by side with Halterman in the battle for 5th. That 124 machine trying to do some work on the inside. Drew Williams, his teammate now, the car he's battling with for 6th. Man, oh man, that 124 really trying to get that inside the work when everyone else is going high. Trying to slide up in front of Halterman, able to do it this time, maybe not. Almost clear. Halterman. Yeah, Halterman dives way down to the bottom here, trying to get his way back around the 124. Meanwhile, Jawah is going to look to the inside of Wallet here through turn 1 and 2 to try and take away the 3rd position.
And Halterman pulled Enriquez with him down into turn 1, so Stockner and Enriquez side by side. But Stockner is going to get that better momentum using that outside lane. He's going to pull his teammate, Drew Williams, who's back in contention for the win of this race after spinning about 20 laps ago. He has stayed out and has once again gotten inside the top 10, but Logan Clampett almost made contact with that 23 and the 22 machine of Austin DeLong back in the running now.
Tell you what, Oscar Enriquez is all over the back bumper of Stockner down the front stretch going into turn 1. That 66 from George Mason was had places to be and didn't care if there was someone in front of him there, so he gave the 124 a really good shot going into turn 1. Still trying to get that inside line to work. He's on the inside of Logan Clampett here in the battle for 9th. As they make their way back into the corner, he's going to try and defend on the low side as Clampett looks to that middle lane. Cars spinning out all over that 124 nearly lost it there through the corner. There's so many different lanes at Michigan, and you could see people trying to run the bottom, people trying to run the middle, people going up high, and they all have their strengths and benefits, but right now the high line seems to be the place to be.
And look at this shot. Everybody in the battle for the lead. It's a one-pack race here at Michigan. 3 wide coming out of turn 2 as here's the battle for the lead. Sky Shrek defends the inside, but Thomas Toomey gonna push Drew Jawah to the lead. Toomey clears himself on the bumper. The nose of the 43 got that move to stick. Shrek had to back out to prevent that contact from turning into an incident as they're all gonna wash to the outside. Jason Wallet gets pulled with him. It's Jawah and Toomey back to the inside to defend against the run from the 40. But here comes Drew Williams to the high side. He's going to bring the 07 of Clinton Halterman with him. These are the 4 playoff drivers inside the top 10 at the moment.
Drew Jawah looking in really good shape right now. He was a driver who needed the win to advance the Homestead next week. Currently has worked himself up from inside the top 15 at the start of the race. Now to the lead here, trying to defend along that middle lane as Jason Wallet looks to run that high side. 3 wide behind them and multiple rows. Sky Shrek all over the front bumper there of Logan Clampett. The 43 was looking real loose. Clampett had to jump up behind Oscar Enriquez here as they go into the corner. But right now, Jawah controlling his own destiny if he's trying to make it to Homestead here. He's looking in really good shape, but he's got a playoff rival knocking on the door here as you've got Drew Williams making his way up into 3rd and some action going on further behind as Tim Robb and Duncan O'Connor are duking it out just inside the top 15.
As it stands, Drew Jawah and Drew Williams would be joining our other 2 drivers, Tim Moore and Matthew Morton, in the championship 4. As it stands right now, Clint Halterman right now needs a win to get in. He is 19 points below that cut line to Williams. But Drew Jawa winning this race, a new winner out of our playoffs, would throw a wrench in so many drivers' plans. But I believe Halterman right now would be the second driver to get in on points. At the moment, lots of weaving back and forth, defending, attacking down the backstretch. These drivers know what's on the line with less than 40 laps left in this race. Those two Clemson drivers have linked up on the bottom, the 23 and the 124. Logan Clampett gives a shot to Williams coming out of turn 4 down the front stretch. He's going to break up that Clemson drafting train as they're going to be 3 wide behind them for the top 10. That's Stockner, O'Brien, and now Tim Robb has worked his way back in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see the absolute chaos through the top 15 cars here as Jawa's a little sideways off the corner. Enriquez looking to try and capitalize. He's got Wallet on his back bumper as they make their way down the backstretch. All of a sudden, 7 drivers from the playoffs inside the top 10. Make it 8 in the top 11 as Jake Cummings is onto the scene as well. He's on the freshest tires of anybody, 6 laps newer than guys like Clampett and about 20 laps newer than folks like Jawa. Here comes Oscar Enriquez to the inside. George Mason on Chattahoochee Tech action here, battling for the lead through 1 and 2.
At the top 5 in his debut last week at Talladega. Now that's 66 of George Mason University. Oscar Enriquez challenging for the lead against Drew Jawa. Jawa not a fan of that right now, as these drivers have a pretty significant lead over the rest of the field based off of what we've seen tonight. Jawa, of course, in that must-win situation, but behind them, there's another driver who needs to win tonight's race to make it into the championship for Logan Clampett into the top 3 for the first time as both of the Clemson drivers get into the wall down the front stretch that time by. And if Clampett can get up to Jawa, this is going to be a fight unlike anything we've seen before. Look at this 3 wide, the Clemson sandwich with the 043 of Matt O'Brien in between them. That fight settles out relatively quickly as Enriquez has passed Jawa for the lead. And now Jawa and Clampett both need to get around Enriquez to have a shot at the championship.
Yeah, all of a sudden now, Logan Clampett trying to figure out who's going to get the better end of this exchange. He's on the back bumper of Jawa right now, but Oscar Enriquez is absolutely roaring on that outside wall right now. That 66 looks pretty fast. Now Logan Clampett jumps up to his back bumper, now back down to the middle, trying to find any sort of room to go on by. Oscar Enriquez able to keep that throttle down more on the outside there versus Jawa taking the shorter line on the inside. They will still be side by side going down the backstretch. Logan Clampett running third with Tim Robb and Clint Halterman on the scene here in 4th and 5th.
But don't count out Drew Williams, Jake Cummings, and Matthew Morton just yet. If Matthew Morton wins tonight, that could certainly throw a wrench in a lot of these drivers' championship 4 hopes, as that would open 2 spots for points and would eliminate Drew Jawa and Logan Clampett as Morton is trying to make his way up to the front of the field. It's a 5-car breakaway up front. Jawa, Clampett, Enriquez, Robb, and Halterman fighting for the lead right now, but this second pack led by Drew Williams, and I bet he's trying to tell the guys behind him, hey, stay in line single file. We've got to get back up to these guys in the lead if we want a shot at winning this race.
The battle for the lead right now, absolutely crazy. 5 cars within 0.2 of a second of each other. Jawa holding off Clampett for the moment. You've got Enriquez and Tim Robb just behind him. Clint Halterman watching all of this as it happens. Clampett now looking to make the pass on Drew Jawa. He's within a split second here, side by side, going into the corner. Both of them running each other really tight as they go in through 1 and 2. Now coming off of the backstretch, Clampett looks to have the lead here over Drew Jawa.
Williams loses the car, but saves it coming out of turn 2. Great hands from that Clemson driver. He's going to lose a few positions, but that car was on a collision course to that inside wall out of turn 2. Great hands from that Clemson driver. Wow, what a save.
Looking at this field right now, Williams doing everything he can to keep this car in contention, currently running 11th with a host of cars right on his
kit. It's a battle of grit. It's a battle of who wants it more. It's a battle of leaving everything out on the track. And every one of these drivers in this lead pack is doing exactly that right now. Clampett, Jawa, Enriquez, Halterman, Rob Cummings, and Morton already locked himself into the championship 4. And then behind them, Sky Shrek having a heck of a night for Oklahoma. Jason Wallet from Drexel University also inside the top 10. Garrett Vighton is running 10th right now. That is his first look inside the top 10 tonight. Drew Williams fell out from about P5, P6, lost control of the car out of turn 2, saved it. He's got teammate Thomas Toomey behind him, and then it's Matt O'Brien from Michigan Tech, who is another car that virtually needs a win to get into the championship 4 tonight.
Yeah, right now we're looking at this battle between Sky Shrek and Matt O'Brien. O'Brien now trying to get around it's the 043 and the 43 battling it out here just at the tail end of the top 10. They're trying to chase down Garrett Vighton as they run. Looking up a little farther, though, you see Tim Robb, Matthew Morton, and Clint Halterman. That's the battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th. All kind of in a little triangle right now, trying to jockey for position. Who's going to walk out the winner of that exchange? That is remained to be seen here. Halterman holding on to the 5th position for now, but will he be able to keep it is the question.
Looking at the 043 of Matt O'Brien running P13 right now. He is the last playoff driver in this top pack right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of our playoff drivers inside the top 11 the top 13 at the moment. Duncan O'Connor from Nova Scotia Community College, another driver who needed a win tonight, is currently running P25. He's going to need a miracle, a caution strategy, or some combination of all of that to get back up here to the front, because this racing has been intense and phenomenal. As you see the 043 trying to go to work on the back bumper of the 5 of Tim Robb to get around him. Those crucial points that could mean the difference between pointing your way in, taking that one of those last 2 spots, as it looks like we got some takers coming down pit road. That's Sky Shrek coming down pit road to make their final service of the race.
Yeah, and after all the cautions earlier on in this race, it's definitely a tough blow to have to come down pit road under green. You know you're definitely going to lose a lap. You could potentially get the wave around if there's a later caution, but not the position that the 43 of Oklahoma wants to find themselves in at this stage in the race. Not a whole lot of time left to really rebound from it, unless a lot of other cars have to come down for green flag stops as well. I don't believe they'll need to, though. A lot of cars came in that 50 to 56 window. But with the fuel window being as stretched as it is, if this were to go green, there might be a couple of these cars in this lead group that have some question marks on if they could make it or not. Most notably, our leader, Logan Clampett, who came in at lap 50. It's a 45-lap window on fuel. And, even with a couple caution laps, the 04 would still be a little bit short. Drew Jawad also would be a little bit short. Jake Cummings, I believe, would be the first car who could make it on fuel from where he pitted, barring a caution. But as you can see, there's Tim Robb. You can see the focus in his face right now as he's trying to chase down the 07 to Clint Halterman. He knows that every point counts at this stage in the race, and there's not nearly enough time left to start giving them away.
Very well-placed Longhorn horns behind Tim Robb. Reminds me of Tim the Enchanter from Monty Python, but he's hoping to work some magic and work his way back up to the front of the field. Currently running 8th in a really good fight right now with Matt O'Brien to his inside. He's all over the back bumper of Clint Halterman, pushing that UNC Charlotte machine down the backstretch into turn 3, and you can see the pack up in front of them. The leader, Logan Clampett, the gap to Drew Jawad, Jake Cummings behind them. Only about 3/10 separating those drivers. And then it's Jose Enriquez back from them. Matthew Morton, Clint Halterman that you see out in, Oscar Enriquez. There we go. I got a friend named Jose Enriquez, so I apologize. That's Matt Morton, Clint Halterman, and now Tim Robb's going to look underneath that 07 Charlotte machine. They're 2x2 there between Halterman, Robb, O'Brien, and that's Garrett Vighton, and Vighton turns. O'Brien robs into the wall. The caution comes out, and I think Tim Robb's race might be over.
Oh
Oh
man, what a
no!
brutal situation there. You saw
Oh,
how tight they were running going down the backstretch, and they just kept getting a little bit closer, and eventually it looked to be that Viton was moving up the track a little bit, and Matt O'Brien didn't want to be against the wall, so he tried moving down a little bit. The two make contact with each other, and then they also collect Tim Robb in the process, who loses the front of that car in the wreck. Boy, that could be the end of the playoff journey for not only Tim Robb, but also for Michigan Tech's Matt O'Brien, who was also into the mix up until that moment as well.
he got sent towards the inside wall. I'm not sure how he came out. He might have been okay if he got that car corrected straight, but contact between Viton and O'Brien collected Tim Robb. It was like a chain reaction down the backstretch, but at a very aero-dependent track, when you lose your front bumper like that, that is going to be race over for Tim Robb.
Yeah, and I think if there's one car that might lose out in this situation that wasn't involved in the wreck, it's gonna be Jake Cummings. He was the only car I think in the top 5 who could have made it on fuel if it stayed green. Now that advantage is not going to be the case, as a lot of these cars are going to pit as Kaler's in the grass.
What happened
to the one machine? He just cut that part of the field, and the UNC Charlotte cars hanging out in the grass a little bit. And now he's going to make his way down pit road. I'm sure he's not happy with whatever happened there, but we're going to take a look at some of these pit stops here. You see the one pulling into his box. The race off of pit road is going to be the real question here with Clampett, Cummings, and Joie. You see everyone pulling into their box now.
Everybody came down pit
Matt
road.
O'Brien overshot a little bit. Let's see how this goes.
And Clampett.
But it'll be Clampett, Joie, and then Cummings and Athena Leclerc. The top 4 off of pit road here. Looks like basically everyone came down pit road. This will be their final stops, I'd imagine, barring any sort of ideas of late race 2-tire stops.
Most cars coming down pit road to get service. You can see the 043 of Matt O'Brien taking a lot of time there in his pit box to repair that car. It looks like there's a front bumper on that number 5 machine of Tim Robb. So I think the crews whipped out the spare and are trying to put that on as quickly as possible. But looking back, I think thinking back to that crash, Robb was completely fine after that contact, but there was a car that came barreling through the incident site that tried to squeeze between Robb and the wall and made contact. And I think that's what took off the front bumper and maybe caused some suspension damage to the front of that car. But we're going to try and take a look at that replay as you see Andrew McCall and Jared Kaler coming off of pit road themselves. So this is coming down the backstretch. You can see the 043 and the 42 not giving an inch of space to each other. And then contact made. Both of those cars go barreling towards the inside grass. The 5 gets into the wall. He locks it down. And who is this that comes around the outside? Robb gets the machine fired again, and it was Kaler.
Maybe that's how he ended up in the grass. He tried going up and around the narrow way, and there just wasn't quite enough room for Robb to accelerate and Kaler to try and shoot the gap simultaneously.
This is going to lead up to an interesting finish as we're going to restart on lap 84 of 100. There's going to be 17 to go. And it looks like Robb finally getting the right side of that car up. He got those repairs done, going to get some new tires on the car. I think he's only going to go 2 laps down. So he's desperately hoping and praying for cautions as we get into the latter stages of this race.
The only thing that's going to help Robb at this point is if some of his playoff competitors befall the same fate and do so in a hurry. But, there's not nearly enough time left for him, even with the lucky dog, if he were to be the lucky dog, to really work his way back up. So this is the replay of what happened to Kaler going into pit road. Oh, he just tries cutting down, and
he tried to.
It's Kellner's there for Ball State, the 17 car. Just 2 cars trying to meet in the same place, but not really sure if Kellner was supposed to give him room or Kaler was just trying to bully his way on down. I don't know what happened there, but I think
Kaler was trying to come down to pit road, but that didn't quite work. As we are on the restart, hopefully for the final time here at Logan Clampett, who puts the field to the green. As everybody behind him gets a good restart as the field goes barreling into turn 1.
Yeah, it looked like the 61 of Athena Leclerc was holding back a little bit on that restart. Got a decent jump, but wasn't really able to capitalize on it too much. So, although they restarted fourth, now battling for fourth there with Halterman and Matt Morton. Oscar Enriquez trying to find any way through. He's trying to make his way and maybe making it a 4 wide as they go through the corner. It'll be 3 wide there. They get back up the Morton. It might make it a 4 wide situation. A little bit of contact there between Halterman and Alif. Now Williams looking to the inside as Jake Cummings is all over the back bumper of Logan Clampett for the lead.
That's Andrew Stagey up to the top side of the 07 and the 23. There's going to be 3 wide going into turn. Williams looking to the inside, all the way to the inside of Clint Halterman, trying to secure all those precious points that he can to point his way in. As it stands, it would be Logan Clampett and Drew Williams making their way to the Championship 4. Clampett securing his way to the Championship 4 with a win. Andrew Williams doing so on points, with Tim Robb being essentially out of the race at this point. He has scored a lap down at this moment. But this is the battle to stay inside the top 10. Logan Clampett now with, actually, I was about to say he walked away with the lead, but Jake Cummings moves to the inside now. And they're going to bring Drew Jawa with both of them into turn 1. Athena Leclerc as well, as they're going to break away for the time being to a pack of 4 cars, as Matt Morton's going to try to make it a pack of 5 up here at the front of the field. As you see Drew Jawa in that Chattahoochee Tech number 3 machine going to run the high side. He's valuing that clean air as the caution comes out.
Caution comes out here, about to be only 15 laps to go when they hit the stripe. 4 playoff cars in the top 4. Huge opportunity for Matt O'Brien to get some laps back. And I think Tim Robb may have been the lucky dog, so he might get back on the lead lap here despite his damages, giving him one more faint chance at a hope for Miami, as it looks like Colin Culpa might have been one of the cars involved.
Colin Culpa had a struggle with his internet earlier tonight, so he's being scored multiple laps down at the moment. But we're going to take a look at the replay that brought out our 9th caution of the evening on lap 85 of 100. And we think it involved Colin Culpa. It sure did. You can see Sky Shrek just in front of him. Thomas Toomey to the high side as a power slide and a drift for the 100 machine, but he can't quite keep it under him as he goes spinning towards the inside. Does he keep it off the wall? Barely tags it. A little bit of cosmetic damage to that left front, but that machine is going to keep on going.
Yeah, not too heavy contact there for the 100. Fortunately for him, could have been a far harder lick considering how much speed he had coming off the corner, but not the night that Colin Culpa had imagined when he got into the machine tonight, trying to race for a victory tonight at Michigan. But looking at the situation here, more takers down pit road. It looks like a lot of cars are maybe trying to get some fresh tires on it toward the back of the field, trying to make that late race run to the front on those fresher tires if possible.
Well, Culpa definitely needs new tires. He smoked them to death with that spin. But Sky Shrek, Duncan O'Connor, one of our playoff drivers who needs a win with the late race pit stop. Hopefully he thinks he can try and get his way back up to the front on those newer tires, but it looks like Thomas Toomey going to make his way out of the pits. Jared Kaler coming back down for some more service. There you see Thomas
Toomey. Duncan O'Connor, it's just a matter of, what you're doing at the moment's not working. You're basically out of time. You just throw a different strategy at the wall and see what works.
I think they're going to be restarting this race on lap 89 of 100, so they're going to have a 12-lap shootout to the end. But as statistics say, and statistics don't lie here in the CIL, there is almost guaranteed to be another caution with 10 to go. Looking at Logan Clampett right now. Hey, stop texting and driving, man. Come on. You're better than that.
Cool and collected back there behind the wheel during the caution. But luckily for him, that's just the sim rig. In real life, that is a felony, I do believe, in most states. But it will be Clampett, Jawa, row 1. Cummings and Athena Leclerc, row 2. Matt Morton, R. Muhammad Alif, row 3. And then Enriquez Halterman, row 4. Williams and Stagey, row 5. Row 5. So a couple of playoff drivers, a couple of non-playoff drivers, some teammates tucked in here or there. on board there with one of our playoff drivers. That is Jake Cummings of Wingate, who has been battling up near the front all day. He's had an absolutely terrific drive. Unfortunately for him in this current point situation, a good drive's not going to be enough. He's going to need probably a win or a miracle. So, still a little bit of work to do there for the Wingate machine, but right now keeping himself in position here late in this race.
And Jake Cummings has really been up front this entire event. He's been in the top 5 on pace, barring any sort of strange pit cycles. He's always been challenging for the lead. This has been a phenomenal night for him, as well as that 07 of Clint Halterman that we're running on board with right now. You can see that is a sizable wheel that he's running with right now. But he has a shot to win his way into the championship, lock himself in, and take over as the standard bearer for UNC Charlotte in the absence of Jared Kaler to try and retain that title for 49ers esports program.
So many people with an opportunity here. It looks like we're just about to go green, though. With only 12 laps to go, once they hit the stripe, this could be potentially the final restart of the night if they stay green. If not, we'll rack them up and try it once again. But here we go as they are lined up side by side, making their way toward the restart zone. Green flags in the air, and we are racing once again at Michigan, looking to see who will punch their ticket to Miami.
Logan Clampett with a great restart. Jake Cummings behind him, side by side with Drew Jawa. And then it's Matthew Morton to the inside of Athena Leclaire. Ball State's R. Muhammad Alif outside of Oscar Enriquez. Clint Halterman, Drew Williams, and then Andrew Stagey rounding out the top 10 right now as Matt Morton gets aggressive, and so does Alif. Side by side, switching around all the lanes, using all the lanes on the backstretch going into turn 3 for those drivers to get all the position they can to set themselves up for an attack. But out front, it's Logan Clampett at the moment. Drew Jawa right behind him. These two drivers are the two that need the win to get into the playoffs. Only one of them can advance. For them, this is the final 11-lap stretch to keep their season alive and have a shot at CIL glory.
Jake Cummings is not too far from that mix. Well, a little bit of contact there with the wall for the 007. He was racing hard with Athena Leclaire, now dropping back to 4th a little bit. He's having a great run so far, but it would not be enough to make it on points with a new winner, which does seem to be the case right now, as the cars running 1st and 2nd would both be new winners in the playoff field. He's also got Matt Morton all over his back bumper as they come across the line with 10 laps to go here from Michigan. Logan Clampett leading by less than 1/10 of a second over Drew Jawa.
The battle for 3rd still as hot as it can be. Actually, a few battles here in the top 10. The battle for 5th on the top of your screen. The battle for 3rd in the middle, and you can glimpse a battle for the lead on the right-hand side of your screen. Now Drew Jawa looking to the inside of Logan Clampett going into turn 3. Can he clear them? No, they're going to be side by side. Clampett with the better launch in the middle of the corner. Who's going to get the better exit onto the front straightaway? Both of these drivers side by side has let the rest of the pack back into the fight. Here comes Jake Cummings in that 007 Wingate University car.
A little bit of contact.
Down the front straightaway, it's elbows out. These two drivers know what's on the line, and they're going to leave everything on the track as Clampett goes into the wall.
Logan Clampett's in the wall. That might be the race for Cal State Fullerton. He was going so well, but now in the wall, slow on the backstretch. Just kind of rolling there, trying to find a place to get down off the racing line. Jake Cummings now holding on to the lead over Drew Jawa by only 0.06 of a second. Now making 5 is now looks like the 3's on the back bumper of Cummings. A tow back to pit lane there for Logan Clampett. Dejected. He does not look thrilled with that, but that is going to be his CIL season right there. It does not appear that Logan Clampett will be racing for a championship next week in Miami, but the race at the lead is hot and heavy right now. Jake Cummings, Athena Leclaire, Drew Jawa, all in the top 3, all battling for the lead with 8 to go.
And Jawa might have picked up some damage after that contact with Clampett. I'm wondering what broke on that 44 car to send him hard into the wall like that and end his race. But that 007 of Jake Cummings out in front. If he wins this race, Jawa does not advance to the championship 4. Cummings will pick up that third spot in the championship 4, and then we'll have to go to our points finishers to see who will take that 4th spot. 7 laps to go in this race. It's J-Watt back out in front of Cummings. He uses the draft perfectly on the front straightaway to set up the pass in turns 1 and 2. Down the backstretch, will Cummings have a response to J-Watt? Doesn't look like it. They're both going to elect to the same line, but Cummings about a half a lane lower. Athena Leclerc right behind them. A phenomenal night for Athena and St. Clair College as she's going to try and hold off Clint Halterman and UNC Charlotte right behind her as the two leaders are now nose to tail, bumper to bumper. Cummings sends it up to the inside, out the outside wall. He's going to leave the inside for Drew J-Watt, keeping that nose about a half a lane up in that clean air. Athena Leclerc going all the way up to the track as she's going to get a great run down the backstretch to close up on the bumper of the 007. Great runs by both of those cars, and here comes Clint Halterman with them as well.
Only 6 laps to go here, and they make their way through 3 and 4. It'll be 5 to go at the stripe. Chattahoochee Technicals, Drew J-Watt trying to win his way into Miami with a victory here tonight at Michigan. Jake Cummings right now fighting for the win as well. He would not be able to make it on points if J-Watt is the winner. And here comes Clint Halterman onto the scene in the identical situation to Cummings in front of him. All 3 of these playoff drivers will need a win as there's some contact there between Leclerc and Halterman. Halterman's going to fall on back, which means now the front 2 cars are just going to be able to pull away a little bit from the rest of the pack. Here comes R. Muhammad Alif up in the 3rd. He's going to try and track down the leaders now with 5 laps to go. Just about to be 4 when they make their way off of this corner. A 2/10 advantage right now for Drew J-Watt over Jake Cummings, but he's got the field starting to bear back down on him.
Jake Cummings is going to have to really think about how he wants to set up this pass for the lead. 4 laps to go. That time by only 8 miles left in this race. 8 miles to decide who is going to go racing for a championship at Homestead in 1 week's time. It's one of these 2 drivers. If Cummings wins this race, he gets there. If J-Watt wins this race, he gets there. The loser of this race will not make it. They've got Clint Halterman right behind them now, able to make his way past the 12 of R. Muhammad Alif, but it's still Drew J-Watt out in front, about 2/10 and change over the Wingate car of Jake Cummings.
One other thing to keep an eye on here.
Caution.
The caution's out. With 3 laps to go, it's Kelton Quick in the wall. I was just about to... and Jason Wallet, who had such a good race going for the majority of the day. That Drexel machine's slow to get going again, but one thing that we need to point out here, under the current situation and points, right now, the cars who would make it in would be Drew J-Watt winning his way in, and Drew Williams would make it on points. However, as they run, he is only 2 points clear of Matt O'Brien.
Ooh.
With this restart, all of a sudden, not only could Cummings and Halterman make their way up there to try and win this race and win their way into the championship 4, if Matt O'Brien can get 2 more spots, or if Drew Williams loses 2 spots, the 043 could point their way in.
Matt O'Brien was 6 points behind Williams coming into this race. He needs to beat Williams by that margin to point his way in. With Tim Robb out of the equation, the next closest driver is Jake Cummings, who needs to win at this point. Clint Halterman also needing a win to get into the championship 4. So the points battle for that final spot is going to be between Matt O'Brien and Drew Williams. But we're going to take a look at this incident that brought out our 10th caution of the night that will take us into CIL overtime. Ooh, netcode. Oh, DeLong. Oh, no.
Oh, and Duncan O'Connor looks like he was able to get through all right on those fresh tires, but definitely a bit of contact there for the 34 machine. But yeah, tough break there for DeLong and Wallet. Both of the contact there between McCall and Tristan Leclerc. But yeah, no, both DeLong and Wallet really had fast cars through the majority of this race. So it's a bummer to see both of their days, or at least both of their chances at a strong finish end there. But yeah, looking at the timing table, Tim Robb looks like he won't be able to make it in on points, although he's had a gutsy recovery effort. He's back up to 15th. Duncan O'Connor would need a win, but he's a little far back there, currently scored in the 17th position. Drew Williams holding on by 2 points to that final points position if Drew J-Watt were to win it. But even if Cummings or Halterman were to win it, it would still be a situation of Williams 2 points clear of Matt O'Brien right now. So many situations for a lot of our playoff drivers here. The only person not really stressed in that top 10, I would say, is Matt Morton in there in 7th. Winning 2 weeks ago at Talladega locked him in, so he can kind of just freewheel it here. But for the rest of these playoff drivers, a lot of nerves and a lot of anticipation.
If Williams finishes 7th or above, he is locked in to the championship 4. If JWA wins this race, he's locked in. If Cummings wins this race, he's locked in. Same with Halterman and O'Brien. Matthew Morton already locked in. Matt O'Brien needs to finish at least 6 spots ahead of Drew Williams to make it in. And if Tim Robb can work his way inside the top 10 and challenge, he will need to beat Williams by 3 positions and have O'Brien finish less than 6 positions ahead of Williams. So the playoff, the championship 4 permutations, my calculator is about to set itself on fire right now with all these points calculations. This is going to be extremely close as we're nearing our CIL overtime start.
And with green-white checkers, just like here, especially in the CIL, but just like any series that implements green-white checkers, we've seen how drastically a field can change in just those 2 laps. We think back a few weeks ago toward the end of the regular season, where we had drivers at the green-white checker to Kentucky. They were scored 17th. They go on to finish 7th. They were in the top 4. They fall back to 12th. I mean, there could be some drastic changes here in these final couple laps. So everything is going to be on the line here. They only get 1 attempt at CIL overtime. So the next flag after the green flag goes in the air will end the race, whether it is the checkered flag or the caution flag. But Jake Cummings on the outside of row 1, Drew Jawa on the inside of row 1. Both of these cars need to win to get in under the current situation of points. Same deal with Clint Halterman in 3rd. Morton is already locked in. O'Brien needs to find 3 more positions here if Drew Williams has scored 9th. He needs to finish 6 spots ahead. Williams just can't let O'Brien get 6 spots ahead of him. And for Tim Robb and Duncan O'Connor, they need a Hail Mary shot here in the closing laps. And Logan Clampett's day is officially done, it does appear. So much on the line here, Zach, as they come through 3 and 4 for the final time under pacing.
One final time behind the pace car. Drew Jawa in the lead. Jake Cummings to his outside. Clint Halterman behind him. All 3 of these drivers desperately needing the win to make the championship 4. Hearts pounding, minds racing, but as calm and collected as ever inside of the cockpits of those College Cup Series race cars. They're going to hit the restart zone for the final time, and we're racing to get to the championship 4 here at Michigan.
Here we go. 2 laps from figuring out who our contenders will be. Drew Jawa got a good launch here, but Jake Cummings is going to try and lead the wave back to his back bumper down the backstretch. The caution's already out. The caution has flown.
That's it.
Does that mean the race is over?
That's it. The race is over. The field is frozen. Drew Jawa will be scored the winner, and he's going to go racing for a championship at Homestead next week. Drew Williams, I think, has done enough to get into the championship 4, but we are going to wait for our official results as the bean counters and the points calculators are going to start furiously tallying points. We will get back to you with that as soon as possible, but we know for a fact after the caution came out just after the restart, Drew Jawa and Chattahoochee Tech missed qualifying last week at Talladega. Time management mistake there for that Nexus Esports car. And he wasn't able to set a competitive lap, did not compete in the race. Needed a win today to make it to the championship 4. He's been incredible all season, inside the top 5 in almost every single race. Has done a phenomenal job in his rookie season, and that effort is going to be rewarded as when he crosses the start-finish line, this time on the final lap behind the pace car under yellow, Drew Jawa and Chattahoochee Tech are going to win the Irish Hills 200, the final race here in the playoffs in the College Cup Series season. That number 3 car is going to go racing for a championship at Homestead.
This is just me, but this is my own thoughts on the matter. I feel like we were robbed of what could have been potentially one of the most dramatic finishes in the history of the CIL there with the early caution. I mean, we had 3 guys in the top 3 who all needed the victory, and all I'm sure were about to put it all on the line to pick up the win, and they couldn't even get to the backstretch before the caution came out. Me personally, I feel a little robbed of what could have been an all-time great finish, but Drew Jawad, congratulations on the victory. You'll be heading to Miami. And tentatively speaking, it does appear to be Drew Williams as the 4th and final member, along with Manhattanville College's Tim Moore and Ohio State's Matthew Morton. But that'll be officially confirmed once the admins officially do the math and make sure that the math that we had up here in the booth is correct. Still, overall, a stellar race. Just was hoping we could have gotten a little bit more out of that ending.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there. We could have had a phenomenal finish to this race with those drivers fighting for the victory with everything on the line. I was ready to see one of the greatest fights we've seen all season. But we're going to save the drama for next week at Homestead as Drew Jawad going to park it on the start-finish line. And he's going to get out of the car, and we're going to hear from all these drivers pretty soon here as they get out of their cars and into our interview waiting room. And it looks like Drew Jawad out of his car, walked away with the race victory today when he needed it most. Congratulations first on your victory here at the Irish Hills 200, but also you are going to go racing for a CIL championship next week. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's kind of a bittersweet win. You know, me and Logan had raced, you know, pretty close to each other all race long. I mean, I stayed out long, and he caught me on fresh tires midway through the race, and I was barely able to keep up with him, and got that lucky caution. I was going to have to pit pretty soon, and we were racing door to door, and under the yellow, I was lagging a little bit, but then out of nowhere, I feel like it kind of like spiked, and I just I look back at it already from the broadcast, and he just goes flying up into the wall, and I feel, you know, awful that he gets taken out of playoff contention like that. So, you know, my deepest apologies to Logan. That's not really how I want to win this race. And then going back to the GWC, you know, I got a good start, and it's kind of the issue with only having one GWC and not 3. Jake and Clint and a bunch of other people behind me didn't even get a chance. So, unfortunate for them. Feel bad for everybody. You know, that got taken out with the Logan and my netcode incident. But, you know, like you said, we're racing for a championship, and we'll take a win.
Well, you are indeed racing for a championship at Miami in 1 week's time. What goes, I guess, into the preparation now, 1 week to get ready for the championship race? What sort of work is going to have to go in to walk away with the championship next week?
Yeah, so I got 2 teammates in the final 4, so it's gonna be fun to see if we can settle between us. I know us 3 and Andrew are all gonna be, you know, prepping for next weekend. So next week, I mean, so it's gonna be fun. Gonna definitely have to run some laps, look at the session. It's nice that it's posted ahead of time, so I can look at you know, what the time is and that type of jazz. So. Like I said, apologies to Logan. I hate winning like that. But we're racing for a championship, so.
So you mentioned your 2 teammates in the championship for Matthew Morton from Ohio State and Tim Moore from Manhattanville College, your 2 Nexus teammates. Do you feel like that's going to give you the advantage going into Homestead? And if it comes down to it, would you wreck your teammate for the title?
Nah, man. I respect both of them, and even if it was Andrew, I mean, we've all worked our tail to get to this place, so I don't see myself wrecking anybody intentionally. That's not how I race. You know, I respect all 3 of them. So it's like I said, it's gonna be fun. I have a little bit of experience racing against Tim here. I've not as much Matthew and Andrew, so feel like I have a little bit more intel on Tim, but I'm walking in blind with the other two. So, like I said, it's going to be fun. Homestead's a lot of fun to race. I'm hoping the tire fall off is the same as I last raced it. So, I don't know what time it is. Do you by chance know if it's a night or day race?
I believe it's a night race.
Oh no!
Yeah, producer Christian just confirmed it is a night race.
No, that's
Is that
okay.
a bad thing?
No. I think that it's a lot more fun if you're like slipping and sliding around. It was a must win, and I realized halfway through the race that it was the top three, me, Jake, and Logan, were all must win. So it was going to be a battle for sure. But yeah, shout out to you guys in the broadcast booth. You guys always are enjoyable to talk to. So hopefully next week we'll be talking to you first with a championship under my name.
Yep. Hopefully we'll see you back here in the booth next week, and best of luck at Homestead.
Thank you.
That was our race winner tonight of the Irish Hills 200, Drew Jawa from Chattahoochee Tech. He's going to go racing for a title next week at Homestead, Miami. Let's go ahead and talk to our runner-up finisher this evening. Pulled the wrong one. Jake Cummings from Wingate University.
Oops,
No,
sorry.
so Drew Williams joined the waiting room at the last second, and I dragged Jake instead of Clint. But Jake, congratulations on the runner-up finish. But I know that there's a lot out there that could be with the win and the berth into the playoffs or the championship 4. What's your initial reaction as you get out of the car?
And first off, I laughed at myself on the screen 'cause I was like looking at my phone and like, I wonder if they're gonna put it up, and then they did it immediately. So
Smile.
thanks for that. Yeah, it's a pretty hard to force that. Wish there was something we could do. I get the merit to only one green white checkered, but in races like these it really sucks. I wish there was like maybe you have to I don't know, maybe like that weird overtime line. Not that we could really do anything with it, but I don't know. Good in every other race, mostly not good in this race. I was 100% totally mentally prepared to just dump him coming to the checkered with his netcode anyways. I just blame it on that. And then, I mean, because I remember we talked about it earlier this year. We were like, oh, if it's for the win or like for playoff implications, it's totally fine to dump someone in the last lap. So I was like, yeah, I was ready for it. Honestly, I guess I should have just been a little more aggressive when Drew and Logan had their contact and then tried to get the lead there. I almost got it, didn't quite get it. But if I had gotten it there, I guess it would have been pretty much sealed for me. So yeah, I hate to come up so short. That's a great result, but man, it would have been so nice after Thanksgiving. And I drove 11 hours in a U-Haul just 2 days ago to get from Orlando to back up to North Carolina on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It was terrible, and I was just looking forward to coming back and doing this. And it was good fun, yeah, really good racing. But yeah, I guess I wish I just had one more, or I guess I just wish I had a little bit better luck at Talladega, and maybe things could have been different. But I can be happy with what I did and what I've done this season. Vast improvement over last season, even if the results might end up looking the same come at the end of next week. But yeah, I feel pretty upset. Not like super upset, like but man, it's all in good fun though. I'm blessed to be in a situation where I can be upset about something like that, I guess.
I certainly think that's a good angle of perspective to approach it from, even if the coming up just a hair short today is going to be the case. But that being said, it still has been a great season for you. We've gotten the opportunity to talk to you a couple times in the booth so far this season, which has been fun. Any thoughts on next week at Miami? Do we see you one more time up there, or what's going to be the approach with 1 week to go?
See, it's hard to imagine me being all the way up here next week with the Championship 4 battles going on.
Ryan, and I believe that you two are tied going into Homestead for the Alumni Championship 2nd place. So momentum, like you said, clearly on your side going race of the season. Do you think you can retain the Alumni title? Or excuse me, that was Colin Culpa. Do you think you have a shot at winning that Alumni title?
Man, it would be so nice in my first season doing it. I Yeah, it's been a lot more fun to keep track of that because usually in the student side there's so many more and you just can't. I mean, you have to be winning the championship to win that thing. So yeah, I let Tim get away from me the past couple races, and then I mean he wasn't here today, so I guess it's just gonna be between me and whoever the heck he said I was tied for, O'Brien, I guess. I'll do what I can. It's really just for bragging rights, I suppose, but that 100 would be a pretty good number to have on my Wingate University Ford Mustang. It'll be a good. I'll be very interested and very intrigued, and I'll be putting a little extra effort in for that one because just it'd be disrespectful not to, but we'll try our best for sure.
Well, we wish you the best of luck next week at Homestead. We hope that you can take that title home. But while we've got you on the show, is there anybody you'd like?
I didn't hear that last part, but I know the question. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man, who should I thank this time? I wonder. It must be tough every time you have to ask like a Leaf this in FC because I don't know how many answers you can come up with.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, you're right.
I'm already out. I try to think about it every time I come in here, and I'm like, shoot, I didn't come up with someone. Well, actually, I guess I already made this public in the general chat of CIL, but confirmed to go to where I'm going for my master's, Converse University over in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Pretty generous, yeah, pretty generous esports scholarship as well. So gonna be probably the cheapest master's degree you ever heard of, but I won't go into details about it. But I'm happy about that, and I guess I wish I told them to watch this race as like hey, here's your new guy. But I guess you guys are having some issues as well, so maybe I'll tell them to watch next.
A good chunk of the back end of the race should be good to go, so you can definitely send them some clips, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. I'm sure it was exciting. I'm sure you guys did a great job in the booth, so I'll thank you guys as well. And yeah, just thanks CIL for an awesome season. Looking forward to whatever's coming next, for sure.
Yep, congratulations on your runner-up finish tonight, and hopefully we'll see you back here in the next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That was our runner-up finisher tonight, just barely missing out on the berth in the Championship 4 from Wingate University, Jake Cummings, and I think we're going to see him in the Converse College 07 next season. So a little silly season starting early here in the CIL. But we're going to go ahead and talk. We're going to go ahead and talk to our third place finisher tonight, Clint Halterman from UNC Charlotte. Almost had the job complete, brought it home third, and unfortunately going to miss the Championship 4. What's going through your mind right
now? I'm kind of a mixed bag. I'm happy that I was up there. It's mixed feelings. I'm glad I was up there running well, but it sucks that I was that close and didn't make it, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, congrats on the podium. At least it was a strong run there, Clint. Ultimately, a little bit short of a potential championship berth in Miami. But the question I've been asking people, and I'll ask you the same, is what'll be the approach going into Miami next week, knowing that it's the last race of the season, but at this point, it's kind of up in the air for you and the UNC Charlotte team.
Hell, just go in there, bring back the checker flag or the steering wheel. I got nothing to lose now, so might as well just try and see if I can go win a race. Obviously we like to just run well first, but yeah, I'm just gonna go try and win. See if I can end the season well. Ended the season pretty well last in the spring. I think I got a podium as well, but yeah. Don't have any teammates fighting for the championship. Obviously, Jared's not running a full season, so I don't have to make any, I don't have any friends to please in that race, so I could just go out there and do my own thing and try to win it for myself. So
there you go. Sounds like one of the best ways to go about it, and going out there and just trying to take the title for yourself.
Yeah.
Zach, I don't know if you have any other questions on you. I know this is a little out of order.
Yeah, well, we're happy that you brought it home third tonight. Got some nice points over Tim Robb in the student championship. That'll bump you up into P4 on that side of things. So there's still work to do there at Homestead. You can bring it home on the podium and the student championship side for UNC Charlotte.
All right. I didn't know that. I'll try and just do the best I can and see what happens. But gonna try and I think the focus is try to do what I can to win the race, and maybe I can pull some different strategy to do that. We'll see what happens.
Well, congratulations on your podium finish today at Michigan. While we've got you on the show, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, just shout my friends and family. Shout out our obviously our sim test driver Jared Kaler this season, putting in the work back in the shop on the simulator. And then just thank y'all for putting on a good show.
And congratulations again, man. And hopefully, you said there's still a race to win. So we'll see you back here in the booth next week.
All right, yep. You'll see me next week.
All right. We'll count on it.
All right.
Have a good week.
Liking
too.
the confidence there from Clint.
Yeah.
Also, I gotta wonder if Kaler's been putting in time on the simulator, what's Clint doing if he's driving a sim racing game? How different are
Oh,
these
gosh.
simulators that they speak of?
Sheesh. So the
But neither
dust
here nor there.
once again has settled, and Drew Jawa, after his walk-off victory, will be joining Tim Moore and Matthew Moore in the Championship 4 in 1 week's time. Congratulations to them, but now it's time to reveal our final Championship 4 driver. The bean counters behind the scenes have been hard at work, and we can say that the final driver in our Championship 4 is joining Manhattanville College's Tim Moore, Ohio State's Matt Moore, and Chattahoochee Tech's Drew Jawa to fight for a title in the final race of the season here in the CIL College Cup Series. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, this was an extremely stressful one.
To say the least, I can imagine.
Yeah, it just a huge fight through the field. Got sent to the back several times. Got tangled with Morton. Got tangled on restarts. Had damaged car for a lot of the race. Super thankful to be able to climb back to a good points position and just barely make the cut.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite the drastic day for you. I mean, you were up, down, sideways, back up to the front, back to the back. I mean, you probably got an opportunity to run in just about every place on the timing tower there, and ultimately get to bring it home inside the top 10. You mentioned that your car had a bit of damage. Was there any concerns about holding on points wise if we got to run the green white checker to its conclusion?
No, I felt like I got a really good jump there, and that's why I was middle of 3 with Oscar and Garrett Vighton. Yeah, felt like I had a good position there. I think if we had run out the green white checkered, I was going to be able to stick to O'Brien well enough to not lose him. I was very worried about the green white checker going into it, but he didn't get a great launch, and really neither did all the cars around me. Nobody got going, so yeah, that definitely saved me.
Well, Drew, congratulations on your second bid at the Championship 4 last time out, the summer season in the Gen 4 Throwback Cup Series. You walked away with the title. Do you think you have a shot to do it once again and secure your second title?
They make this a lot more fun and give me great info during the race, and I want to thank Clemson University.
Well, congratulations again, and hopefully we will see you lifting the title next week.
So hopefully. Thank you.
So there you have it, folks. The Championship 4 is settled and confirmed. But before we wrap up for the evening, let's go ahead and take a look at our final results from tonight's Irish Hills 200. Take it away, Alex.
Yeah, you betcha. So Drew Jawab punches his ticket to Miami with his victory here today for Chattahoochee Tech. Jake Cummings comes up one spot short for Wingate. So close yet so far, both for him and for Clint Halterman of UNC Charlotte. Or Muhammad Ali fought back to finish inside the top 5 for Ball State. And Matt O'Brien had a great recovery drive for Michigan Tech, ultimately comes up just 3 points short of making the cut behind Drew Williams. Athena LeClaire finishes 6th for St. Clair College in a good run there. Matthew Morton brings it home 7th to keep that momentum high going in the Homestead next week. Drew Williams holds on for the 4th and final spot to Miami with his 8th place finish here today. And then Garrett Vighton from Arizona State and Oscar Enriquez from George Mason round out the top 10.
Finishing 11th is drum roll, please.
Most dramatic 11th place reveal of all time.
Seriously. I think producer Christian might have fallen asleep late at night.
It is bedtime after all. Let's see if we'll get it to refresh here. Or maybe no one finished 11th. It's Schrodinger's 11th place finish.
Schrodinger's 11th.
Someone may have finished 11th. They also, maybe no one did. Who knows, honestly.
Gonna go into iRacing and see if I can grab the race results here.
We'll do it the old-fashioned way.
We'll do it the hard way. Finishing 11th is Thomas Toomey for UVA. P12 goes to Sky Shrek from Oklahoma University. Andrew Stagey finishes P13. Ben Nelner finishes P14. Tim Robb finishes 15th. His championship hopes come to an end tonight for American University. Michael Sayador for the Penn College of Technology will finish P16. Timothy Wilms finishes P17. P18 goes to Jason Wallet. There we go. P19 goes to Duncan O'Connor. And rounding out our top 20 is Jared Kaler.
Yeah, 21st will be Nick Stockner from Clemson University is the last car on the lead lap. Austin DeLong, 22nd for the Penn College of Technology. Tristan LeClaire, 23rd for St. Clair College. Purdue's Andrew McCall will bring it home 24th. And despite starting on the front row, Kelton Quick will bring it home 25th for Ball State. Andrew Burrell for Clemson University is 26th, with Colin Kolpa 27th for Indiana. Ball State's Lucas Moody will bring it home 28th. Logan Clampett was in the hunt until the very end, but unfortunately his championship bid will end here tonight at Michigan with a 29th place finish. And Nicholas Budemlik for St. John's University will bring it home 30th. With the remaining cars being Charles Wembley of Guilford College and 32nd Andrew Burrell Ryan Whitlock from Alabama Huntsville. Andrew Burrell, I believe, may actually have been DQ'd, with Dylan Godinez 33rd.
And that is going to do it for tonight's Irish Hills 200. As we said earlier, in 1 week's time, the grand finale of the fall 2023 College Cup Series season, where we will crown a brand new College Cup Series champion in our Next Gen series. 4 drivers, Tim Moore, Matt Morton, Drew Jawa, and Drew Williams, stand out among the rest. And 1 week from today, only one can walk away a champion. 12 weeks of hard racing will culminate in a 200-mile highest finisher takes all race, which you won't want to miss out on. So be sure you tune in to the final chapter of the most intense, dramatic, and competitive College Cup Series season yet. Next Monday night, pre-race show starts at 8:30 Eastern, with championship race coverage starting at 9 o'clock here on Twitch and YouTube. And if you can't wait for more CIL action, Formula C heads just across the Great Lakes to Wisconsin for our Midwest Grand Prix, the penultimate race in our fall 2023. 2 sprints at Road America means plenty of points for grabs for all of our drivers in the top 10, vying for those last few positions in the overall championship. Though Muhammad Alif and Ball State clinched the drivers and schools championships 2 weeks ago at Imola, there's still all to fight for everybody else in the field. The action starts at 8:45 Eastern, also here on the CIL Twitch and YouTube channel. And I believe that is going to do it for us tonight. So on behalf of myself, co-commentator Alex, and producers Christian, Keith, and John, and all of us here at the CIL, we'd like to thank you for tuning in to tonight's Irish Hills 2. And until next time, stay fast.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.